Hey there, it's Katrina Cobb, your favorite digital nomad, business consultant, and coach. And this week I'm going to share some tips on ways to make sure you're not missing out on one of the most overlooked systems in business for entrepreneurs when they're in early stages trying to grow. And that's systems to actually plan what you're doing so you've got focus, clarity, and priorities and can move forward faster. So it happens a lot in conversations with especially solopreneurs in the freelancer, coaching, creative, professional services world, where they've struck it on their own, they're rocking and rolling, just trying to make things happening in hustle mode, but they never pause to put a real actual plan in place, whether that's market research, whether that's goal setting, whether that's clear structures and financial forecasting. Like they just missed that first piece because they were so excited just to make things happen. And I totally applaud action, 100%. But I'm going to throw out an old parable just for comparison's sake. You've probably heard, and I'm sure it didn't actually happen, but you've heard that there was a quote from Abe Lincoln that he said, if I was given 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. And that's just an analogy to illustrate the importance of planning and preparation in being able to then do your work faster and more efficiently. So the same thing is said for business. It's admirable to go take quote unquote inspired action and just rock and roll and like get into hustle mode and make things happen and seek opportunities and move quickly. But the feeling you're going to have is it's going to be very scattered and very all over the place. You're going to feel like you're chasing your tail sometimes. You may get lucky, delightful, but it's not the most we'll say strategic way to move forward and move forward faster and get the results that you actually want. You may end up somewhere you don't even intend if you're just kind of going after whatever opportunities fall in your lap versus setting and making a plan in place and having a system for doing that. So what are some planning systems that you could leverage? I think the first and the simplest is to block out time on a daily, weekly, monthly basis just to review what it is you want and what are the next steps to get what you want, and put yourself constantly in the place of taking a look and reminding yourself of that, because I do know that it's very easy to get distracted because there are so many opportunities in business, especially when you're independent and solo, and you can be nimble and agile and adjust, track, and have new things come across your plate. But having this and having a process where you look at it on a regular basis is really, really, really helpful for keeping focus. So whether that's written, if you like analog, journal, paper, old school style, whiteboard, delightful where you see it every day, or if you like digital tools, technology, put it in an app, throw it in an Evernote, throw it somewhere where you can, as a spreadsheet, see it, track it, and keep the focus on it. So there's a couple different means of doing that, but I think the biggest way to put a system around it is to create that intentional space, whether it's a morning routine, a nightly routine, a weekly review, a monthly review. These things are important as a business owner, and especially important to do beforehand, but also to do an ongoing basis, and that's what I see gets missed. Other hacks for this sort of thing. I think if you need a system to help prevent the FOMO, the fear of missing out, when new ideas pop into your brain, when you think of a new thing you could do with your business, when you have a vision for what you might be able to do in the future, I think a system as simple as creating an idea bank for all these amazing ideas as they come, that you can then know you refer to, they're not lost, you can just defer them until later when you have time, when they fit into the plan, is super helpful. For me, I use Evernote because I'm inevitably thinking on the fly when I'm walking, when I'm touring around, and that way I've always got my phone and I can just pop the idea in there and go as detailed as I want, and it's there for me to come back to. Again, other people love to carry around a journal or a moleskin. It's totally your preference, but I think having a system for the extra ideas is really helpful to help prevent the overwhelm. The last thing I would say is leverage a calendar system to manage the priorities, leverage technology where you can to manage these things and have a way to come back to measure progress. But the biggest thing is it's not just something you do once. Planning is not a one and done. Planning is something you invest the time into on the front end and then build a system to revisit, remind, refocus, keep yourself on track, and that's super helpful for moving forward. So I hope some of those tips help. If you guys have any questions about planning systems, let me know, drop me a comment. I'm doing a live training coming up in a week on systems in general in the business and how to build a machine. So if you're curious about that, I'd love to invite you to join me. Talk to you soon. We'll be back next week with some more fun tips.